What does Ratan Tata want people to remember him for? I want to be known as someone who made a difference, not more and not less. As one of India's most important people, Ratan Tata's picture may be hard for many to understand. The latest comment by Simone Tata, on the other hand, has made his life more clear. Ratan Tata's personal life has been kept secret for many years. His stepmother finally spoke out, which no one saw coming. She broke her silence with shocking news that caught everyone off guard. These new facts bring Ratan Tata's long-kept secrets to the light. What made her decide to talk now? What do you think these new facts mean for Ratan Tata's legacy? Come with us as we find out the shocking truth about Ratan. Was really a Tata because his father adopted him. Ratan Tata wasn't seen as the heir to this dynasty until the very end of his trip. The shocking news from Simone Tata. Simone Tata, Ratan Tata's wife, has just broken the silence with a shocking fact about Ratan Tata's life and work. This information came to light after he died on October 9, 2024. She said that he was humble, kind, and had a purpose, and she stressed that his impact will continue to inspire people in the future. She said that the family was comforted by the love and respect that was shown for Ratan during this hard time. Singer Simone's dedication to Ratan Tata shows how important he was in both the business world and the community through his charitable work. Throughout his life, he was known for putting honesty and fair business practices at the top of his list of priorities and for giving a lot of money to many good causes. Simone Tata praised Ratan Tata's lasting impact, which was based on kindness and purpose. But what about the real person who made the story? Simone's big reveal doesn't end there. Ratan Tata's work success grew, but the mystery surrounding his personal life only grew, making him an even more interesting person to look at. Simone Tata, his stepmother, was one of the few people who really got him. Her latest comments may give us a look into the private life of a man whose legacy goes beyond business. She said something else shocking about Ratan Tata in a private conversation. Ratan Tata's stepmother couldn't keep quiet any longer. She shocked everyone by telling the truth about the guy we thought we knew. Ratan's famous smile hides a lot of pain, as Simone told her story with tears in her eyes to close family and friends. Even from people who thought they knew him best, he kept that part of his life very secret. Simone says that even though Ratan Tata seemed happy on the outside, he was actually carrying around personal heartbreaks that were never shared with the public. People thought of him as a quiet, dignified man who decided to stay single for decades, just to focus on getting ahead at work and helping others. But what Simone told me is a different story, one of love, loss, hunger, and making sacrifices. Simone told them that Ratan had been close to getting married more than once. The truth was that Ratan had truly loved an American woman when he was young and living in Los Angeles. They were going to get married, but fate stopped them when Ratan's grandma got sick in India. Ratan felt he had to live up to his family's standards and carry on the family name. He went back to India, hoping she would come back later. Sadly, they broke up because of the Indochina War, which caused political issues and cultural differences. People knew Ratan was sure of himself when he smiled in public, but behind the smile was pain and loneliness that no one else saw. Simone may have been one of the only people who saw how hard things were for him. After that, he took another blow. Indian film star Simi Garawal was another love that changed Ratan's life. A lot of people had ideas about their friendship. Even though most people didn't know about it, Simone said that even though they loved each other very much, they couldn't settle down together because of things beyond their control. Ratan Tata, on the other hand, told CNN in 2011 that he almost got married 4 times but didn't because he was afraid or for some other reason. He said that every case was different. But now that I think about it, it wasn't a bad choice. Tata has said that he missed having someone to share his life with and felt lonely at times. But he also said that he liked being free and not having to worry about how other people felt. Tata said it was never too late to get married when he was 63 years old. He said he was ready to marry if he met the right person. His stepmother confirmed that she had talked to Ratan and heard him talk about how lonely he was. He told her that even though his work life was satisfying, his personal life had always felt empty. She said that he never whined, but I could see it sometimes. Behind that smile was a man who had loved and lost and who had put service ahead of his own wants. Even in his later years, Ratan never talked about these painful events in his life. His dedication to the Tata Group, his work to help others, and his goal to make India better always come first. But because Simone was brave enough to talk about his secret pain, everyone now knows how deeply he is beyond his public image. The things Simone said show how much she misses and feels proud of the ideals Ratan Tata lived by. However, what exactly happened that led to his death? What did people across the country do when they heard this sad news? Now let's talk about the specifics of Ratan Tata's last moments and how the country responded. When India heard that Ratan Tata had died, it was a sad day. Ratan Tata took care of businesses and helped people. He died in Mumbai on October 9, 2024, at the age of 86. People in India saw him as a giant in Indian business, and he was a big reason why the Tata Group became more modern and global. His death was a big loss for India. Ratan Tata spent his last days at Breach Candy Hospital, where he was not thought to be in good health. When news of his death spread across the country, many people were sad and many famous people paid respect to him. Olympic gold winner Neeraj Chopra was one of the people who spoke out about how sad they were about the death. He had happy memories of Tata's love of sports and the work he did for many sports federations. The government of Gujarat made today a day of mourning for him. The national flag was flown at half-mast, and there were no government culture events that day. Ratan Tata's funeral followed Parsi customs, which were based on his Zoroastrian views. This shows how important it is to return the body to nature instead of burying or cremating it. At the National Center for Performing Arts in Mumbai, thousands of people from all walks of life came to pay their respects. This showed how important he was to society and business. More and more honors kept coming in. India's Minister for Foreign Affairs, Subramaniam Jaishankar, said that Tata's death marked the end of an era. Many people talked about his visionary leadership and dedication to helping others. They stressed that his ideas and gifts to India's growth will have an impact for a long time after he dies. But to really understand where Ratan Tata's amazing impact came from, we must first look back at the start of his journey and the early events that made him who he is today. Ratan Tata's early life. To understand Simon Tata's discovery, it's first important to know how Ratan Tata came to be. His family, the Tata family, is one of India's most powerful business groups. Ratan Nawal Tata was born on December 28, 1937. Because of his birth, he is part of a history that has shaped India's economy and business today. With their huge estate, the Tata family had a lot of respect. Young Ratan grew up with this long and interesting family history weighing on him. In spite of his fame, Ratan's childhood was not at all easy. Naval Tata and Sunu Tata split up when he was only 10 years old. This split made a big difference in the boy's life. Although Ratan's father was always a part of his life, the fact that his mother wasn't there when he was growing up hurt him deeply. People say that this early change in his family life gave him a strong sense of freedom and a guarded personality that would last his whole life. After his parents split up, Ratan's father got married again, and that's how he met Simone Tata. Simone was born in Switzerland and is an entrepreneur with big ideas. India's beauty change began with Simone Tata's Lakme, launching the first makeup brand made in India, which became a must-have for Indian women and showed how entrepreneurial she was. Her impact went far beyond the business world as well. Ratan also made Simone an important part of his daily life. Their friendship changed as the years went by. People say that Simone played a quiet but helpful part, but it's not often talked about in public, especially when Ratan was going through hard times. They understood each other, shared beliefs, and were committed to the family legacy, which isn't always the case between stepmothers and stepchildren. Ratan grew up with Simone's help and also worked hard at school, which set him on a road that would prepare him for his future duties. Ratan's early schooling showed how his family thought. He first went to the well-known Campion School in Mumbai. After that, he went to Cathedral and John Connon schools, which are both known for molding some of India's smartest kids. Ratan had traits that would later describe him even when he was very young: hard work, humility, and a quiet drive to get things done on his own. In his early years, his parents' divorce, his father's new marriage, and the demands that came with the Tata name all affected not only his goals but also who he became. It made Ratan quieter, more focused on his work, and less likely to talk about his problems with other people. These traits would follow him throughout his work and shape how people saw him as a man who was very private, still determined to keep his family's business empire going. However, this privacy is now in danger because Simone told the world about the secrets that not even his closest friends and family knew. Ratan Tata's amazing journey started with his education, which shaped his business ideas and view of the world. Ratan decided to go his own way, even though he was born into a well-known family. He went to Cornell University. At first, they were learning architecture, but they became very interested in business. Cornell gave him a broader view of global business by introducing him to new ideas and ways of being a leader. Ratan went to Harvard Business School's Advanced Management program in the early 1970s. It was a life-changing experience that solidified his belief in new ideas, ethics, and a people-centered approach to business. This time changed Ratan's thought a lot and set the stage for his leadership style. Ratan Tata had a great education, which helped him start a successful career. He used the ideas and values he had learned to help the Tata Group grow. Let's look at his work more closely. Information about Ratan Tata's work life. Ratan Tata decided not to take on a high-level position right away when he got back to India. Instead, he began his career at Tata Steel in 1962 as an entry-level worker on the shop floor. Even though it was very hot, he ran machines and learned about the problems workers had to deal with. This experience changed the way he leads. He led by example, not by title, and as he moved up in the company, people respected him. It wasn't easy for him, and people inside and outside the company fought against him. A lot of people doubted his ability to carry on the work of his great-uncle, Jahangir Ratanji Dadabhai Tata. JRD Tata is a very respected boss. Ratan still believed in slow growth, though, and he worked hard to show it. He was put to the test as a leader right away when he was put in charge of the struggling National Radio and Electronics Corporation. Market conditions meant that National Radio and Electronics Corporation didn't have a lot of success during his time in office. However, Ratan's efforts to modernize and be more open started to get noticed, showing that he had the vision to take on bigger roles. Ratan had a good name in the Tata Group by the late 1980s. He was known for being tough and dedicated to change. To stay competitive, he knew the company had to change with the times and encourage new ideas. Even with all of these accomplishments, many people still didn't think he could fill J. Tata's shoes for Jahangir Ratanji Dadabhai. Ratan took over as head of the Tata Group from his uncle in 1991, after years of showing what he could do. At that time, the Tata Group was very big, with more than 80 separate businesses. Getting these companies to work together in the same way was hard. As chairman, his first big move was to make things run more smoothly and bring everyone together. Ratan had to deal with top executives who didn't want to change. But he didn't give up. He thought that Tata needed to embrace new ideas in order to fight globally. A big part of his job as leader was bringing Tata's company culture up to date. He pushed for openness, responsibility, and an emphasis on technology and business. It was clear what he wanted. Tata had to get rid of its old-fashioned image and become a major player in the world market. Ratan was ready to take over as CEO of Tata when it was already a major player in Indian business. He thought the big challenge would be to make it a world leader. Ratan's leadership would finally take the Tata Group to a level of global success that had never been seen before, despite doubts and problems. When Ratan became chairman, his first big job was to bring the huge company together. He put in place a plan of consolidation to make things run more smoothly and make sure that all companies under the Tata name had the same values and goals. But it wasn't easy to do this. A lot of the top leaders in these businesses didn't want the changes and liked the old way of doing things better. Ratan faced opposition from within the Tata Group, but he stood strong because he knew that the company would have a hard time competing in a globalized world if nothing changed. It was hard for Ratan at first to bring the Tata Group's business culture up to date. He pushed for more openness, responsibility, and an emphasis on technology and new ideas. He pushed the company to use cutting-edge methods and urged people to be more like entrepreneurs. He had a clear picture. The Tata Group. It had to get rid of the limits of its old image and accept a future shaped by competition around the world. Ratan was in charge of the Tata Group when it made a run of risky purchases that would define his time in office. The purchase of Tetley Tea in 2000 was one of the first and most important. There were a lot of firsts with this multi-million-dollar deal. Tata became a bigger name on the world stage right away after buying a big global brand. It was the first time an Indian company had done that. Ratan wasn't done yet, though. When Tata Steel bought the Anglo-Dutch steel company Chorus for more than $12 billion in 2007, it made news all over the world. At the time, this was the biggest deal an Indian company had ever made. It made Tata Steel one of the best steel companies in the world. Even though there were a lot of risks involved, the deal showed Ratan's determination to make the Tata Group a world powerhouse. Then they bought Jaguar Land Rover, which is one of the most famous car companies in the world. Tata Motors bought Jaguar Land Rover in 2008, the high-end British car company from Ford, for around $3 billion. At the time, a lot of people didn't think this was a good idea. They said that Tata Motors, which was known for making cheap cars, wasn't good at making expensive cars. But there was another time when Ratan's idea came true. When Tata owned Jaguar Land Rover, it not only lived, it did very well, becoming a part of the group that makes the most money. Read on to learn more about Ratan's leadership. Ratan was a great leader because he struck a balance between taking big strategic risks and being deeply committed to doing business in an honest way. He pushed the Tata Group to grow abroad, but he also kept a close eye on corporate social responsibility, which had always been important to the Tata family. Ratan thought that businesses should do more than just make money, they should also help people. He wasn't the loudest or showiest CEO, but the choices he made said a lot. People who worked for him looked up to him because he was humble, honest, and always focused on new ideas. Ratan chose to look at the big picture instead of just the short term. Tata Group is always looking for ways to make sure it will be around in a world that is getting more complicated and competitive. Ratan had to deal with a lot of problems, both inside and outside the Tata Group, as he built it into a world giant. Even so, he stayed true to his core values, which included new ideas, doing business in an honest way, and caring about the greater good. Not just in India, but around the world, his time as chairman changed what it meant to be a business leader. Ratan Tata helped change the Tata Group, but his dedication to giving back to society has also changed the lives of millions of people. Charity work done by Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata has made a big difference in Indian education by focusing on making it better and easier for more people to get. One of the things he did that stands out is helping to start the Indian School of Business in 2001. The Indian School of Business has become a top business school thanks to his financial support and strategy advice. Partnerships around the world. He has also given money to the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, which focuses on study, education, and social work. Ratan's donations have made it possible for these schools to offer grants and improve their facilities, which makes sure that students who want to get a good education can do so. His goals are based on the idea that education is important for moving society forward, and he wants to give the next generation of leaders the tools they need through his charitable work. This is just one way he helps people in need. There are many more. In the meantime, Ratan Tata has been very important in improving healthcare services all over India. He has put money into a lot of projects that aim to make medical care better, especially cancer treatment. Among other things, he helped build specialized cancer hospitals like the Tata Memorial Center, which offers cancer treatment and study at a low cost. Tata Trusts has worked on improving access to high-quality healthcare in areas that don't have enough of it under his leadership. Ratan has also helped by funding projects that improve healthcare technology and innovation, which leads to better diagnosis and treatment choices. His dedication to healthcare shows that he believes everyone has the right to high-quality medical care, which has led to big changes in public health across the country. In times of trouble, Ratan Tata has always been there to help India's disaster aid efforts. During the 2001 Gujarat earthquake, which was one of the worst natural tragedies in Indian history, his dedication was clear. Ratan Tata put together resources to help the victims, which made a big difference in the rescue and recovery efforts. Under his direction, the Tata Group helped those who were affected by the disaster by giving them money, supplies, and temporary places to stay. Ratan worked on long-term rehabilitation, helping to rebuild communities and bring back ways of making a living. His deeds during crises show how much he cares about helping others and making sure that those who are affected get the help they need to rebuild their lives. Ratan Tata has also led a number of projects that give people more power and help improve the lives of people in rural India. His projects focus on long-term growth by giving people in these areas tools and training to make their lives better. The Tata Trust's Rural Development Program is a well-known project that works to improve farming, protect water, and give women more power. Ratan wants people to be able to take care of themselves. So these projects often include skill development programs that teach villages the skills they need to make a living in the long term. He makes sure that local needs are met by putting an emphasis on community involvement and participation. His work on rural development shows how important it is for disadvantaged groups to be able to live on their own and make money. In the end, Ratan Tata's charitable work has had a lasting effect on Indian society, affecting everything from schooling and healthcare to disaster relief, and empowering country people. Other people are inspired by his desire to give back to his community. How do you feel about everything Ratan Tata has been through? What do you think about what Ratan's stepmother said about him? Write your answer in the box below. Remember to like and subscribe to our station for more interesting videos. Also, click on the screen to see the next movie. It's great.